Hello everyone, it's indeed inspiring to see you back again, and we are here in this Business Analyst series. We are going to help you with step-by-step journey to learn and develop your skills as a business analyst. Here, you will learn a lot about how to interact with client, how to capture the user stories, how to document them and produce BRDs and SRS, how you can do the data modeling part, UML modeling, software methodologies, Agile, Scrum and DevOps, so many and so much things to learn. So I insist you to go through this particular series and get an advantage on Business Analyst.
So we try to understand that a person who basically plays a role between client and between the technical team is business analyst. So this is very crucial role, very important role, because there are so many challenges if the client directly communicates with the technical team. People from technical background, sometimes this happens that the user stories or the kind of requirements which are being shared by client, they are not very much clear to the developer or vice versa. Like the developer talks in terms of technology, in terms of how basically some architecture works. That is very difficult for a client to understand. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say there's a client who is coming in and who is asking for, I want a mobile application to be developed. So now mobile application to be developed, now what next should be done? Now the person should be asked right questions so that a detailed requirement can be taken. But in this particular case, what will happen? The developer will say, okay, which technology would you like to use? Now basically the client doesn't know anything about the technology. Client doesn't know about the pros and cons of the technology. So client only knows that he just needs an application, a mobile application which can fulfill some of the needs and maybe challenges he's facing in the business. This is what he wants. Okay. So in this particular case, if you see that there is a communication gap, and this is normal, like this is logical, and therefore we have a need of a new person, and this new person would be the business analyst. Business analyst will be able to understand clients' requirements also, and at the same time, the business analyst person is going to discuss with the team also and is going to help them with proper understanding whatever challenges the team is having. The business analyst is going to communicate in with the client. So this is what is a person known as business analyst. Then we had a discussion that there is something called as business analytics. So business analytics is basically the practices where we start with, let us go over here. So where we start with understanding and analyzing the data. This starts with descriptive analytics, going with diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. So these are different levels. Descriptive, we had a discussion yesterday. Let us take some example. Let me basically take a new tab over here, and let's go for a free repository of data. I'll guide you about this later on. So let's let's explore some data, probably of sales to start with. So let's wait for it to get opened. Okay. So archive.ics.uci.edu. So this is a library, this is a repository where you will find a lot of data sets which are being provided by them for mostly for academic research and practice purpose. So this is one example from where we can explore some data sets. So let me get some data set from here. Diabetes and rice, car evaluation, mushroom, or probably this is one of the simplest data set I'll take up to begin with. This is iris data set, and this data set is of flowers, and it was collected by Fisher in 1936. Let me download this particular data set and we'll try to work on it. So this is the downloaded file. Let me extract it. Extract all into iris2. So it got extracted. Fine. Yeah, this is the data set. Let me open it with the notepad. Okay, so you can have a look at this. This is a particular data set. Okay, now in this particular data set, this is notepad. So notepad doesn't allow us to do any kind of filtering or that way. Probably we could have opened it with the help of Excel. That could have helped us more. So let me save this file as, so save as, and I will save it as CSV file. So can we see CSV over here? Let's find it out, comma separated values. So yes, so here we have, just search for it. Okay, I'm not able to search for it. No problem. So I'll just select all types and I'll just save it as .csv. Okay, this way I'll save it. So I've saved this file and let me go to the folder, and here we can see that it can be opened up like in Excel. So let me open this file and let's try to understand what we discussed yesterday in a little more depth and a little more in an elaborated manner. Let us try to understand in that particular manner. So here if you see that this is the data set. Okay, and it is not having column names. So what I will do is I'll just add insert one row and we'll write the column name. I'll explain you about this particular data set. And in case of analytics, we are first trying to understand that what are the different types of analytics. Okay, so here the first column is sepal length. Second is sepal width. Third is petal length, and this is petal width, width, and then this one is a classification, so we can write class or a label. So this is a simple data set which we can see over here, very simple data set. Now this data set is of flowers, and like you must have seen a rose. If you see a rose, like roses are red also, pink also, white. So we have different colors of roses. And the size of the petal and sepal also in case of rose, they're also different. They're not same. Similar way, this iris is a flower. And this flower is also having some varieties, some species it is having. Okay, so if I basically try to see iris. So here you can see that iris is a flower. Let's go to images. So you can see this is a beautiful flower over here. Okay. So this data set contains the properties. Now we can understand one more thing, that someone who is going and studying these flowers must have gone and measured the petals as well as the sepals of this particular flower. So data collection. Okay, although we are talking about flowers, but the concept we need to understand is data collection is very important part. So someone who went and with very much patience, they basically measured the petal length and petal width, then sepal length and sepal width. So those readings they have brought to us, and that is present here in this Excel file. Okay, let me enlarge it a bit. So this is what is sepal length and sepal width, petal length and petal width. And then they have written the species, that it is Iris setosa. So they have written that particular species name over here. Okay. Now, if you see that, I will do some descriptive analytics. Okay, I have selected all the data, and so I'm just explaining you conceptually now. So here I'll just provide a filter. So let me provide a filter to it, and just a filter. So I have provided a filter over here. Now this filter helps us for doing the descriptive analytics. Let's say I just want the data of one specific species or one specific class. So what I will do is I'll just select this particular filter. I'll remove the tick from all of them. I'll just select one species, that is Setosa, and I'll click on OK. So you can see that I'm only able to access the Setosa species, only Setosa, right? Then similar way, if I click over here and I want versicolor and I don't want Setosa, I'll click this way. So you can see I'm only getting the versicolor species. Okay. So descriptive analytics actually tells what has happened in the past. So now let us try to compute or have some formulas or something which will tell us what has happened in the past. So first thing I would like to know is what is the average length of sepal for iris setosa? What is the average length of again sepal for the other category, that is versicolor? So that is what I actually want to know. Okay, so to make it very in layman's terms, hoping that nobody knows Excel, so in that way, so let me basically select only iris setosa. Okay, I'm just selecting iris setosa and press OK. So if you see that this is the whole data of sepal length, and if I see the whole data of sepal length, this is here you can see sum is 250, average is 5.006. So the average is 5.006. So here I'll write iris setosa, IRIS iris, or let me just copy from here. I'll just copy this string and put it over here, iris setosa, and here I'll write is equal to AV average, and the average we have is, I'll select from here till the last, this is the average. Okay, so you can see 5.006, this is the average. Similar way, I would like to go for the iris versicolor. So for iris versicolor, what is the average? Let us try to see. I'll write here iris versicolor. So let me just make a copy of it and put it over here. And the average is, so it starts from 52 to it goes till 101. Okay, so is equal to average, is equal to average, and this average is starting from this one is A52 to A52 to 101. Yeah. So this is 5.936. Okay. And this is now the third one. So let me select all and okay. So this was the second one, and the reference was A52 to A101. Okay. And the third one we have is iris virginica. So let us take that also, iris virginica. So iris virginica, if you see, it will be starting from the above one. If you see that got ended 101, so it will start from AVE average and 102, and total we have, okay, yeah. So total number of records we have 50, so it will go for 152. Okay, so this is what will be the, so here you can see what is the average length. Okay, so this is telling what has already happened, and we have summarized that in terms of average. So this is class, and this is average AVE or AVG, average sepal length, average SL sepal length. So what I will do is I'll just select this one, insert, and I'll go to recommended charts, and I'll get a chart for it. And let me just minimize, like reduce the size of that particular chart. And here you can see. So this is what is descriptive analytics. Okay, it is describing that iris setosa sepal length, average sepal length is lower than iris versicolor. Iris versicolor's average sepal length is lower than iris virginica. So you can see that this is something is a role of is the task under analytics. Okay, and a business analyst also needs to do this. I'll make it clear how. Okay, so this is first thing, business analyst does some of the analytical operations. The first one we discussed is descriptive analytics, and under descriptive analytics, it tells what has happened already. We can summarize it. We can, by summarizing, I basically mean we can go for finding out measure of central tendencies, or measure of spread, or minimum, or maximum, or count, or category-wise analysis. So these are some examples which we can do under the first thing which we had a discussion yesterday, that is descriptive analytics, first part. Second one comes as diagnostic. Diagnostic basically means why. So now if you see that this particular data, if we try to understand why iris setosa sepal length is lower than iris versicolor and iris virginica. Why? What is the reason? So if you see that, this answer probably we not get from this particular data set. To understand data is very important. While collecting the data, one person who is working as business analyst or who is working in the domain of analytics needs to understand that what are the different data sources and what are the different data points I actually need to collect. Because at this point of time, if I need to understand why is the length or average length of iris setosa is lower as compared to the other two species, if I really want to know this, it is not possible on the basis of this data. So there is some more data which is required, probably the kind of environment condition, probably the kind of soil which is being used over there, probably the kind of again in under environment, the humidity, the wind, the watering, the sun rays, so all that, and the demographics, so all that I need to basically have an information so that I can understand that okay, so some reason I can get from the kind of geography is there, maybe that is the reason why setosa is having lower sepal length as compared to the other two. So diagnostic basically tries to understand why something actually happened. So the reason, finding out the reason. Now predictive basically, for example, it can be, let's say, similar to this. Let's say there is a farm and we are doing cultivating these iris species over there, and there is a high demand of these flowers for decorative items. So we are cultivating this. Now the predictive analytics tells that what is the chances that this upcoming season we will have more production, we will yield more production as compared to the last one. Or to be very specific, let's say we will have in some numbers, okay, this much of the cultivation will happen. So this is basically making prediction. That is the predictive analytics. And prescriptive. Prescriptive is that we have a target that we need to achieve the demands from 20 clients which we have received, and we need to fulfill that. And for that, what exactly do we need to do? Do we need some more land? Can we basically take some land on rent and expand the cultivation of these particular flowers? Can we do that? So this is a strategy, this is a planning, this is a recommendation. So prescriptive analytics is all about what can be done, what can be done in order to achieve a goal, in order to maintain a particular situation, in order to minimize the loss in some cases. So prescriptive analytics is all about that. So these are the four types of analytics which we should be very clear with because as soon as we will move ahead, we will do the requirement gathering. So all the time we should have these things in our mind. Then two more we had discussed yesterday, inferential analytics and cognitive analytics. So I'll not invest much time on that. So inferential tells about the relationship between two basically things, thing one and thing two. We try to understand that whether something will happen to the first thing, is it going to affect the second one? If yes, then what is the strength of that particular impact? So how the change in one going to make the change in the second? So what is the impact? So this is basically called as inferential. And cognitive, as we had discussed, that enters into artificial intelligence and machine learning. So AI and ML is the area where basically most of the algorithms are either coming from statistical and mathematical background, or they are coming from the way human beings actually try to formulate solutions, or they are coming from the insects, the birds, the way they try to identify solutions for themselves. So taking inspiration from them, we have artificial intelligence, genetic algorithms, machine learning modeling, so these kind of things. So now all these things are basically used by a person called as business analyst. So business analytics engineer works and develops systems where at the back end they do coding, they do a lot of code writing and create a model, and they integrate with that particular tool. And as a business analyst, we start using that particular tool. So for example, this Excel, I just applied some formula. So a person who was developing Excel actually had written a formula at the back end. but we are the users of these things. So this is a bit of difference, that one analytics engineer would be basically more involved in creating such products, and as a business analyst we are the users of this particular technology. We use it, and then we help the client as well as the development team to basically be very much clear with the requirements. If the requirement is clear, planning would be clear. Planning is clear, then development would be clear. If development is quality development, then basically its testing would happen and customer will get a satisfied product. So this is what how the whole journey actually starts.
If you like this video, please do share it with your friends and those who need it. And don't forget to press the bell icon and also subscribe to our channel so that you can get all the videos, notifications readily in your account.